This man, on the secretary of Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwifery Association, on the secretary. When the incident happened, we heard said the minister in charge, the sector, Akando, Honorable Akando, went to the hospital. It is not his job. But what will make a minister leave his office and walk to a hospital? Abra minister in him said there's management at the hospital that is supposed to make sure that anything that happens within the premises of that hospital is taken care of. Why do you think a minister, one, a minister is see the distance from his office to that hospital, no, and what? It's out of curiosity and out of respect and maybe showing what we call showing some compassion for maybe more hospital or any more. The minister decided to leave his office and quickly dash to that hospital. So one, the minister has done what he's not supposed to do, meaning the management of the hospital was supposed to take care of the matter. It was not even supposed to get to that point where the minister will leave his office to go straight to the hospital. But it's so interesting. Senka Semsi Hospital, the first thing you'll be asking and say, who is in charge of the hospital? Asante Kotoko Football Club, no. If a football match be a FA Cup, player no Emma back pass. Mistakenly, a crochet. So who team no? Na so who be bisa na team nim perform here. Who do you ask? Do you actually ask about team owner and why, and now you ask about who is in charge of the management of the team? The first question you ask is, who is their coach? And I'm a boy. And they say, Asamasi, a hospital. Your district director. Your heads of departments in the hospital. Your management heads. Why do you think, say, anybody will come and straight up blame the minister who is overseeing all the hospitals in Ghana? This man came out as the secretary of the Ghana Nurses and Midwifery Association. And all that he did was that, all right, my team is saying that I should change the picture. Thank you, team. So let's change the picture. My team says me change the picture. No, very important because it's not that clear. All right, thank you very much, team. I appreciate this. Now, this man, on-air secretary. Now, the first question, if you are the secretary of an association, the first question you ask, so who be sir, now be sir. The first question you ask and then say, who is in charge? That's the first question you ask. Who is in charge? Who is in charge of the hospital? In fact, we are very, very honest. You ask yourself, the first question you ask and say, that moment, who was in charge of the shifts? Because you start from the bottom and you start to read it to the top. It's Assembly Sianajua, who is in charge of the night shift? Who is in charge, or who was in charge of the afternoon shift? Who was in charge of the morning shift? So then you start to break the matter down. Then you get to know who is responsible or whose responsibility was it to make sure this was actually curtailed. But this man, who is the general secretary of an association, and let us not get this wrong, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwifery Association, it is like any other association in Ghana. It is a Ghana Tomatoes Union Association. It is a Molikoko Sellers Association. It is a Mampam Association. It is a Ghana Bar Association. An association. Remember, the Minister of Health, he is overseeing 71 associations under his ministry. 71 unions. 71. And this is one minister with his deputy overseeing the activities of 71 unions under his office. And you are the secretary of an association. What do you do first? You first ask, who is in charge? Now, this is what happened. My member video now you share strategically, interestingly. The video that was put out there is the only video making headlines, making rounds. Say, Ralph and now for no rage, you know, they actually went to brutalize a nurse. And this is the man who started this campaign. Remember, the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses Association, Midwives Association, no, Sama Ameno, Nikunu MPP chairman. This guy is her deputy. This guy is her general secretary. Now, this guy started a campaign, and that campaign was straightforward, geared towards the minister. And you ask yourself, why? Now, minister, no, na minister na ya and the Asomisi Hospital, the management of the hospital has been left out. The board has been left out. But straightforward, the minister is the one being questioned. Now, the so-called video, this man and his group, the whole Ghana say, this is the confrontation and the assault at a Seawall Ridge Hospital. And I know you have watched it. There's a reason why I want to play this video. Let's watch this. So this is the incident. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwifery Association for SA. Sa video na CCTV ne capture nyina. Inti CCTV na wo Ridge Hospital no. This is the video I'm capture. I'm say Ralph ne ndamfofo a omo call the emergency ward no. They attacked a nurse. So far, this is the only video these people released into the system. And let me tell you on authority, they carefully released this little short video to help the narrative of this guy and his boss. Now, Usha video no. These people now came out and said, nurse na muhuno video man na muhuno video no. She was beaten to pop. In fact, nurse no ye bunin sem ebun kom ema ontume home. This guy led a team of media men to go to the hospital to interview the nurse. Remember, Asamni Sieno, Minister Abaho, Anameboa. Remember, Minister Echreye ended through the press conference. Time or tia semono, the steps he took. And Sana, this man who is called David Chum Tenkran, stepped in as an association secretary. It's just a mere association. Okay. Now, nurse, no, almost say Ralph Moko Bull, no prepare no only.
When he came in, he wanted us to leave everybody and attend to him. So we explained to him. Ralph. Okay. We explained to him, and then he was like, he wouldn't sit down. And my intern told him to get a card, a hospital card. He said, why should he get a hospital card? Because his name must be in the system. Once his name is tied in the system, it should everything should pop up. And my intern said, no, it's not done like that in Ghana. There he was angry because he was told it's not done that. That is not done in Ghana. And he started insulting us. We don't want Ghana to progress. Then he brought out the phone. But initially, I did a pressure dressing for him. Okay. In his finger that he said it was bleeding. It had bled. Okay. The blood had dried. Okay. So I just had to put a gauze on it so that we reassure him. Okay. He wasn't happy about it, so he took off the dressing I did for him. Okay. Then I approached him and I told him that I've done a dressing for you. So the patient, we have 2 trauma cases and other cases too are there. We want us to leave them. He got angry and he started yes. So he did this to me. And then when he went out, I don't know where the guys came from. Most of the health workers saw them earlier, so they had flee. I didn't see them. And then they, from my back to my chest, and then they were just...
Did they push you? Were you pushed? Or what did they do? What did they do to you?
Yes, I was hit. I don't know if it was a fist, a tap. I can't describe the...
But what happened to your hands?
Raphael, I don't know, Raph did this to me. He hit me with the phone with the fist. And I even dodged a couple of the fists. And they hit me
All over.
But right now I have a dislocation on my shoulder and some headaches and body pain.
All right, thank you very much.
And to Adam, he was telling us he will follow us to our homes and beat us. And if yes, take one life and
you take one life. Actually said that.
Yes.
Okay. But we are happy to hear that.
So, this is the nurse. What happened was, on the narration, it just said, Ralph Bayano, na adi twa ne nsa, and on no crab Ralph de adi chichire so, and a Ralph you to tune and say, adentina, among one and tem, on it, obi swaba, on also in here help. Now, they are approaching, into Ralph Wufu, no, can say, Ralph, so, when you betray. And Ralph say, "Oh, you have to Ralph Pia Bontene." It's Ralph by no day. The now for by na almost started so almost bono. Into almost bony shoulder. Ralph didn't say a bony seman and say we move a made bandage at chire. A man in Sabacono shoulder a dislocating tea a shahumem. Emma Bakubi unim say a tap. Brunica's a tap her. They defend a tap. Someone tapped you. And I say a fist punch. Also onim, but the other man it no nim say a tap and I say a fist on one shut down. In the situation ye, or my Bruni ye. Now it's interesting. As somebody see, you know, the minister had it. Minister Netia Samono. He quickly, in fact, let me play the minister's own statement to you. I mean, what minister in statement is true?
On Monday morning, I sent a delegation to Ridge Hospital to ascertain the situation. When the delegation came up, upon debriefing, I realized that I had to follow up. And ladies and gentlemen, let me state this, that I have the health workers of this country at heart. And so any attempt by any individual or any group of people to try to incite the health professionals against government, pretending he cares more than us, is unfortunate. And we must stop that. It's an avoidable tension we must avoid. It doesn't help the sector. If indeed you are a practicing health professional in the sector, it doesn't help the sector. And so, when the delegation came back, I had to follow up. I was in the company with the Deputy Director General and other directors of the ministry. We joined the medical superintendent at the Ridge Hospital, and I visited the victims. After going around, we had a closed-door meeting to discuss the issues, not insults. One, how to look at beefing on the internal security, staffing issues. So, after the closed-door meeting, I came out to address the press to categorically condemn the physical attack. And that is the most important aspect.
So, Minister Asimo Kenya say, "Asem see no, ejuada otu nipa ote no because minister no office no any rich and what on a normal day the minister is not supposed to go there. And you know, no. The management of the hospital are supposed to take care of this, And then if they have to write a report to their superiors, they write it. And if it has to go up to get to whoever has to take the necessary action, it is not a job of the minister. But approximation, maybe an office no one in hospital no one tia into a tia some no or tin from no no or to nipa some monko. Now monko assess the situation and mobile report. It is not even my duty to go there because somebody is being paid to make sure say this hospital is run efficiently. Now delegation they came to tell the minister say this is what we went to find, and the minister said, I want to go there myself and find out what exactly is going on. I want to see it with my naked eye. It's minister now ekoye or Nanteko Hospital, Ridge Hospital. And remember, minister because say on the deputy director of the hospital no kahun and medical superintendent ne kahun. That means ministers no koye no na sa nurse no na oho. Remember, some way you know, now you're on call for the hospital. Na show monsa, they have to make sure the right things are done. Ridge Hospital, almost security. Yes or no? Yes. Ridge Hospital, almost a management on standby in case there's an emergency. Yes or no? Yes. Ridge Hospital, your senior doctors or when even there is some kind of confrontation between junior nurses, senior nurses, or whatever, they can step in. Directors within. Yes. So the question here is, if anything like that happens, now Minister Kreniwa, report Benny Troye, who was in charge of that. Now, if this guy goes to a Ridge Hospital, who is the first person he's supposed to see? Or say, or a secretary of just an association. An association that is not backed by any federal law. It's just a mere association. It is also a doctor wako school onim nyansa no. Owura hospital what first no. Who did he consult? Who did he talk to? What report did he read? For him to come to that conclusion, to go sit on radio to start insulting the minister. Remember, the minister, so Papa or a doctor. I'm sorry, team. I got the old picture. Papa we saw a doctor. Also, TSS said the employer is the minister in charge of that sector. So his employer is Honorable Akando. I don't know whether he's a practicing lawyer, a doctor or not, but also a doctor or practitioner. Na say the Ministry of Health asia. It means to say this guy, his boss or their employer is the Minister of Health. Now, some say crazy. What will make you the employee go on radio and speak this way? Nano asem on radio.
The fact that the whole thing came on social media, the young man was throwing his weight about in the hospital, which as a sector minister, you should know that that is not how things must be done at the hospital. The guy should have been arrested there and then. And I told you that the minister is always followed by a police officer. And therefore, if we have the wherewithal, if we think that things ought to be done rightly and properly, the guy should have been apprehended there and then. And don't forget that there's a police post just by the mortuary of Ridge Hospital. They could have called for reinforcement. If you think that the duty of the police officer is just to protect the minister, that's fine. But while they were interacting with the guy, they could have called the police to come and apprehend him. How many minutes will it take for some police officer to even run from the mortuary of Ridge Hospital to where they were standing?
Does the GRNMA have issues with the health minister?
We cannot have issues with our sector minister, but we think that we are not being treated fairly as nurses and midwives in Ghana. And you know that we have a lot of issues.
Under his tenure?
Not only, I mean, we have had a myriad of issues, but I mean, if you declare a strike action and a minister can decide that you go for retired nurses and midwives to come and work and try to instigate groups that are within your fraternity that are not aligned with you to step in and all that, it tells you clearly that this is not somebody who is prepared to work with you.
So it's a lot of pent-up emotions, right? Because it looks like you're carrying let
our action is not premised on any motive.
Yeah. So as I was saying,
that we have issues at hand that ought to be discussed,
okay,
or issues at hand that ought to be resolved. I mean, if somebody goes to beat up a nurse, what is emotion about it? There's
so the question I was asking,
that emotion caused against me this morning.
Well,
I think that what has happened is very wrong. Everywhere, meaning Ghanaian must condemn it.
So I'm asking again, because I asked you whether you have any issues with the minister, considering your tone, and then you mentioned that I asked you whether it's under his tenure, because you talked about nurses not being treated fairly, and then I asked whether it's under his tenure, and you mentioned that you have issues with regard to your conditions of service, and he had said that he was going to be called in retired nurses to step in while they try and resolve the matter, and you have issues with that. You believe that some of your conditions were not entirely resolved, but I thought you had made some progress where there was an agreement to give you some portion of that of those conditions, and then the subsequent ones will also be included in the 2026 budget. Or you didn't make progress. That's the reason you called off your strike, no?
Absolutely, but we're thinking that even in August, some of the items could feature. I hope you heard what the Minister of Finance sat on Joy FM, PM Express to
I don't know. I don't know what he said.
You may not listen. You might not have listened to it. The minister said he wasn't briefed by the sector minister about the concerns of nurses and midwives. That should clearly tell you that if what he said is anything to go by, somebody somewhere is refusing to advocate for the well-being of the ordinary Ghanaian.
So, Oko radio so one, or cabro for bako, any abusan say, oh, na assembly see no. Diana omo eka for say, oh, na minister no onam ho no. Some police need in echi. Ade na minister no call duru ho na the police need in echi. Ade wa ma police ni no anche. Ralph mo e police station ho. We oyakwasia we Jimmy. Onimu nyansa. Every police officer in Ghana, you are signing with Juma. These are the fools wearing suit in Ghana. They need say every police officer, you are signing with Juma or Ghana. Said the minister here, it is your responsibility to protect the minister. It is not your responsibility to go to another jurisdiction and make an arrest. So your police ni kwana woda bank ano. Na say robbery air so bank ni nim. Nipa mienu ku na hu a. It is not your responsibility to go there and arrest. Your job is to stay at the bank and give that bank protection. The police will come and take care of that. Into where Jimmy Krano, one kasa na also say, hospital one are your police depot. It is a hospital or the police depot or mortuary inside. Some morgan in China hospital or police depot. Whose responsibility is it? Our hospital or to make sure say police officers from that morgue, police station or morgue in China, abe arrest. Or kwasia. Politics na oye. And I'm going to talk to the young nurses in Ghana. This guy, he is using young nurses on the politics. And Obama calls Subusa and say, asmesi. Na only health minister or problem ana. Oh, I said I don't know Busa any problem ya. And also Sibia Okasa no tone no. And also na unya obi na sa oko strike na okachira wo say or kwa kofa retired nurses e ma obeye adwuma no abra onomo discussion sa nipa nyansa be no onim because onim say ye ne retired nurses ne nya fine adentina ono minister ne kofa omo. So it means say the all nyina no is because of what happened early on. And an Adrian said this is when he has to make the minister unpopular. And the agenda is not about what happened at the hospital. The agenda is to direct the pressure on the minister for people to think the minister is not doing his job. He's just a mere association secretary.